Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the official ROUSH Performance Esports channel. And here we are. There's definitely some faces that you may recognize. And starting off on my left here is Jordan Musser. Down here is Matt Christie. We got Jack Roush Jr., Joey Atterbury, and Paul Darling. We got a room full of champions. And we are so excited to finally wrap up this World Tour series, which was completely, I wouldn't say spur of the moment, but it was, we quickly threw this together, got together probably the best group of drivers, professional drivers, sim drivers that you can probably find. And as you guys have seen in the past streams, we have put together a heck of a race, traveled all across the world to different tracks, and we're so excited to finally crown our champions, which you are looking at right now. But to start off, Jack, we've talked about this a few times. I know with this pandemic hit quick, a lot of brands and companies didn't know a direction or where to go and what to do. And being involved in both automotive and racing, we had to do something. And I remember the conversation when you came to me originally, you're like, hey, iRacing, let's talk about it. And here we are. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I guess you could say it's been an interesting year. The pandemic was, when it hit mid-March, it was a real downer for racing. We didn't know what was going to happen, and we couldn't go out and meet our audience, our fans, our club members for anything, and that just felt very wrong. In addition to being locked up, in Michigan and other places were very locked down. And as you remember, Trevor and Joey, we were trying to think of ways, how can we use iRacing and do something really cool, get people racing, do some racing ourselves and entertain people, and have it be, kind of fill the gap for what we were missing. And I got to say, it's been a great year for that. And Trevor and Joey, you guys really went above and beyond to organize and make that happen. And first of all, I do want to thank all the racers, all the people that have followed the events to really make it all it's been. There's been some great talent that's taken part in it, and the guys here with us today, you earned your bragging rights. You guys are awesome sim racers, and I'm very proud to have had you be part of this. So thank you.
No, absolutely. And you're so right, Jack. Going from last year, Joey and Jack, we were in Washington. We were in your neck of the woods, Joey, giving rides on the Roush Stage 3 Mustang and laughing and just being together. And then, of course, yeah, things rapidly changed. But one thing didn't change is smiles and laughter. There was tons of that through the entire series, behind the scenes, at the practices. It's so cool to be able to see so many different people from all over the states and country at that point get on one level and be able to just have fun and smile and laugh and have a good time. So, and as Jack said, every person that watched, that it means a lot to us, because there was a lot that went into this. A lot of us didn't know much about broadcasting and production of iRacing. You would think it's simple of turning on a video game, but if you saw the setup behind me or in front of behind the computer, it's pretty impressive. There's a lot of moving parts. So we thank you guys for supporting this. We reached actually close to 6 million people amongst during the entire World Tour series. So to be able to put out those type of numbers and show you guys what was going on, we appreciate you guys, and we hope that you continue to support the ROUSH Performance Esports channel. But enough of that talk. Let's talk to the champions. We have Jordan Musser, our Sprint Series World Tour champion. I mean, Jordan, you are extremely impressive to watch through the entire season. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the season, what your favorite part of the season was, and maybe how you came to iRacing?
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, technically I was a beta test for iRacing in 2006 maybe, but I was broke, couldn't afford a steering wheel. So I kind of played with like a joystick for a little bit, and of course gave up because it wasn't that much fun. And then when the pandemic hit, I kind of recharged my batteries and needed to find a way to get some racing going on. So got involved in iRacing and did it fairly casually. And then thanks to you and Robb, Holland, and Jeff Altenberg got me kind of roped into the ROUSH thing, and then started taking it very seriously. So and gained a race with Paul Darling, obviously a SCCA champion at that point for iRacing, and really teaching us what fast was. It gave me an incentive to work really hard at. So I got serious. I got the direct drive wheel and good pedals and a full rig and triple monitors, and so invested a lot of time and money into it, and really enjoyed it. I'm still trying to spend as much time as I can on the sim. It's not, I don't say it's it's kind of like karting. It's not a step up into racing. It's a different kind of racing. It's just as competitive as anything else. For me, Spa was probably the most important, because the first race I was extremely fast, and I knew it wasn't luck. I'd earned it. I'd worked for it. I realized I could be competitive. I didn't win, ironically. Obviously, winning was probably a pivotal moment for me, but Spa was where I really knew I could win. Finished second. I just didn't execute. I should have won. The next day in the endurance race, I was leading on the last lap, ran out of fuel. So after the first day, knowing I was competitive and really proving it in the enduro, I knew that the rest of the season was going to go well, and it justified the hours I'd put into it. Before that, I'd spend an hour learning a track. Now I was spending 8, or more. I spent 40 hours, I bet you, learning Nürburgring, maybe more, and just, I enjoyed it though. I had fun doing it, so that's fantastic. For me, I got to thank the guys that helped me in my day racing, my weekend racing, the real racing, or not real racing, my in the real world racing. Poly Restaurant Group, Burger King franchisee, allows me to do the racing, basically funds almost everything that we do, and we couldn't do it without him. Burrell Art, the manufacturer of the karting program that I drive for when I race go-karts, they supply me with the national level winning equipment. I want to thank Paul, that did earlier, for showing us around. It was cool to have him involved. Clearly he was just a step above kind of everybody else. Obviously good racing with him, everyone had a shot at him, but when push came to shove, he came out on top. So that was pretty cool. Joey, all you guys, for Trevor, and of course the sponsor of the series, for making it all happen. Looking forward to being involved again next season and continue to race with these guys. It was all, I know I bounced off a few people and people bounced off of me, but it was very professional level racing. That was what was cool. It wasn't a game. I didn't treat it like a game, that's for sure. I took it as serious as I do my real racing. So thanks for having me. Absolutely.
And one quick question. So obviously, yeah, a lot of people, I think, don't understand the complexity. It's not a game. It's extremely real in so many terms. And yeah, you talked about it. There's a lot of money invested into quality equipment and such. But one thing that and I know where my emotion stands with iRacing when I'm in there, but when you're have a car coming up on you and you guys are kind of battling, are your emotions feeling similar to what you feel when karting?
100%. Leading a race and having someone on your bumper in the sim, to me, feels identical to a real car race. I would almost just say I feel more pressure because I'm not as confident in sim yet. So I make dumb mistakes that I wouldn't probably make in a car. I lose control sometimes of the car. I don't think I've ever just spun out by myself right at a racetrack, but in sim I have. So I'm actually more nervous. So I would say all the emotion, and when I won, I felt just as emotional winning a real race, because I worked hard at it. Didn't luck into this. I worked for hours and hours to win. It's the same thing in real car. So for me, I would say absolutely, I feel the same emotions when I'm being pressured or I make a mistake. I'm just as frustrated. So yeah, it's very close to the same for me.
That's great. Joey, Jack, you have any questions for Jordan?
I was just going to pitch in there and agree with Jordan that if somebody was on the bumper in the sim, I feel like it's much more pressure in the sim than it is in real life. In real life, you've got your feeling and you know where the car is, and if you messed up an entry or you're a little wide here, you know where they are around you, behind you. And in the sim, all of that is lost. So you're constantly checking the mirror, looking at where they are, and
which makes you more nervous.
Right. I totally agree. And for me, I think part of that is that you cannot feel what the vehicle's doing with your body. So when you're looking around, you're losing your points on the track, which is very dangerous. But
yeah, I found a mistake I was making early on was actually looking at my shift counter on downshifts. I was looking at what gear I was in. I knew I wanted to be in second. I wasn't counting them, but I didn't have that extra feel for what gear I was in.
Yeah.
And as soon as I looked down, I'd lose a braking reference like that. I missed the corner. So I had to teach myself to stop doing that.
Man, and I can't even get pit road entry speed You guys are worried about that. Jeez. No, Jordan, we appreciate you so much for coming out to the World Tour Series. Complete professional driver, and it was always fun watching you. And we look forward to continuing to have you on future series and coming up this year. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. On to the one and only Matt Christie. Matt Christie is one of the two Enduro Series champions for our World Tour Series. As you can see, Matt's got that bling. So I can show you guys kind of up close what Matt's actually wearing around his neck there. How many you got, Matt? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that means that you visited the podium 7 times, correct?
Yeah, six of them from the Endurance Series, 1 from the Sprint.
There you go. So that's actually kind of what you guys are looking at here. These are our ROUSH World Tour podium finish coins. These are really neat. 2020 there. You flip it around, you get the ROUSH Performance. And of course, a huge shout out to our sponsors, Continental Tire and Haggerty Motorsports. But such a cool coin and representation of obviously taking a win there, joining the podium, which you've seen a few times this year.
Yeah,
Why don't you tell us about it?
It was a good season. With having Paul as a partner, it worked out perfect. He is much more experienced than I am. I just started doing this back in April, bought a bunch of gear like Jordan was saying, see all the people being real fast and saying, okay, well, how much is my gear a factor and how much of it is skill? It turns out it's mostly skill, but the gear does help. But yeah, having Paul as a partner was great because I was able to learn the tracks with him. He's been to all of them before. I'd never been to any of them. And the car, I already knew a little bit from our previous mini series, so that was really, really nice. But as far as this series go, the race that really stands out to me the most was the first one at Le Mans, just because of how nervous I was. I'd never been in a team race before of any kind. So now I have somebody else on the line. So whatever mistake I made is affecting somebody else as well. So I was just super nervous, and I was I was locked up when I was driving for the full stint. And unfortunately it cost us so much time that I was so slow that we came in second by like 6 seconds. And after that, I realized I'm better at that. I need to step it up. And Paul helped me with the confidence, through there. And I kept getting better and better each round. And in the end, I was running basically race pace in the last couple of races, pretty much. So it worked out well. It's such a great series. So thank you, Joey, Jack, Trevor, and then of course, Jordan, a great competitor and awesome job in the sprint series, man. It was great racing with you. And huge thanks to Paul for sure, because would not be here if it wasn't for him to really carry the team a bit and help lead me in a better direction, so that in the future maybe I can pay that back to somebody else too. So and thank you to Continental Haggerty for sponsoring everything. Awesome trophy here behind us. All these podium coins are sweet. I'm ready for the next series though. Thank you guys.
Let's check out that trophy, Matt.
Yeah.
Can you grab that there? Check it out, guys. So that is what you get there for winning the championship, the ROUSH Performance World Tour Series. No, that's great. No, and Matt, you again, and I'm not just saying this, what a great competitor you were, professional. It was really a joy to watch you. I feel like you were always up front. We're always calling Matt Christie. I think I've said your name 1,000 times, but that's definitely a good thing. And we look forward to future series, and hopefully we can get you over to the dirt, get you muddy.
It's one of those things. I'm still working on the road stuff and getting comfortable, and I want to get better. Like my I rating is like just over 1,700, because I don't do a lot of public racing, because, I take things pretty serious. And if I'm going to put the time and effort in, I hate to have it ruined by someone else. So that was why it was so nice being in this series, because everybody was pretty respectful. And like, Jordan said, you had to put a lot of time in. I put in between 30 and 45 hours for every single track, except for the Nürburgring at the end. I did kind of slack a little bit there. I think I put like 25 or 28 hours, something like that.
Slacking at 25 hours. No, that is great, Matt. No, we appreciate you. And now off to your alter ego,
co-driver.
Co-driver, Paul Darling. Paul, one thing, it's so funny because I feel like you are pretty quiet out there. You always kind of hear you're so humble. You come on, yeah, no, great win, this and that. And you are just absolutely blistering fast. I mean, yes, there was professional drivers out there. There was really great, I would say pretty much pro sim drivers out there, but we have watched you race and it's like, okay, hey, he's 4 seconds ahead. Oh, he's 10 seconds ahead. He's 15 seconds ahead. You are an absolute, like it's like a robot out there. Great driving. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the highs and lows of the World Tour Series?
Yeah, like this was a fantastic series to be a part of. I really appreciate Roush, Haggerty, and Continental putting this on. So I've been sim racing since 2010, and like Matt said, he just coming on brand new in April with the quarantine. So it was a real pleasure to be driving with Matt this year and watch his progression. Like you said, at his first race, where he was lacking a bit of pace, and then throughout the entire season putting in all that time that he just said, it was really good to see that massive chunks of improvement in time that he was making on me. I mean, somewhat depressing because I wasn't ever getting better, but that's what it felt like. But I'd say the best race of the season for me was probably, well, most fun race of the season was Suzuka. I think I restarted like 4th or 5th behind the El Crudos, and I can't remember what the sister team was. After I worked my way past them and trying to track down Christian Shimshak. Can't remember how you say his last name. Sorry if that was brutally murdered. But just tracking him down in the last 10 minutes, and then even though I failed to make the pass in turn 1, just being that close, that was definitely the highlight of the season, one of the most fun moments. But it was a fantastic season. I'm really happy to come away with some awesome hardware here. I'm just really appreciative for the entire season. I have to thank my team sponsor, GTR Simulator. They make some great rigs, so you should check them out if you're looking for a rig. They sponsor my team, TNT Racing. So.
Absolutely. Well, there was something great about that gear. I'll tell you that. You got faster and faster, and it was again amazing watching all of you guys. I mean, Joey, you can kind of speak to this a little bit. You were out on the track with these guys, rubbing elbows.
Yeah, definitely. No, we've kind of covered it all here tonight. You know, racing in these 4 GTs around the world. Where do we start? I think we went to Le Mans, then we went to Spa, and then Suzuka, and then Barcelona, and then Mount Panorama, and then Nürburgring. So we hit a couple different continents, got a bunch of different racetracks in there. It was just an absolute blast, and you were looking at the champions right here. Jordan said it a bunch of times, Paul, you were the class of the field, and you really kind of set the benchmark. We had several fast guys between the El Crudos and the Murillo entry with Shimshak and Kenny and some other guys that popped in the series. But Paul, you were consistent out there. You were super fast. And, you had this ball and chain holding you back there with Matt. But no, I'm just kidding, Matt. You did great. And honestly, for everybody who's watching, we had the Sprint Series and the Enduro Series, and Matt actually raced in both. So did Jordan. But Matt really treated the Sprint Series like his practice. And I think how many coins did each of you guys get? I think, Jordan, you're what, 4 or 5?
Yeah, I've got them stacked on my trophy downstairs. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then Matt, I see him dangling. And then I think, Paul, you hold the record. I think you got 8.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I didn't actually count them all.
Oh, you can't too many from the count. Way to brag, buddy. Way to brag. That's called a humble brag. I couldn't count them.
Yeah, he got the package. Was like, wow, this is heavy.
Yeah, I'll brag for him. So he got 2 from the Sprint Series because he dominated 2 races there, and then we podiumed every single endurance race.
Nice.
So.
No, for me it was an interesting season. I started out doing both the sprint and enduro series, but then my co-driver Matt Plum had some other obligations, and I ended up commentating. I don't know what I had more fun doing, racing or commentating and watching it. The racing was so great. I really have to hand it to you guys. Great job this year. Yeah, we got to do more of this.
No, absolutely. Yeah. To Jack's point, I know I had a blast commentating. This is my first time ever doing commentating of any type. As Jack knows, I mean, I most of the time I get nervous actually talking in front of a lot of people, but through the entire season, I've had an absolute blast. And I feel like now I have friends all over the place, because it's like half the time I'm friends with you guys now on Facebook, and just getting to know this iRacing community, and all the professional drivers out there that have joined us, as we said earlier, from not just here in the US, but all over. It was just really cool to see everyone kind of pull together and get through this. And I think we're still getting through it. And we have some really exciting stuff coming up. We have the ROUSH Performance Off-Road series, and you guys can catch clips of it on the ROUSH Performance Esports channel. So right after this live, go check it out. Joey, you want to talk a little bit more into that?
Yeah, definitely. Kicking off in January. I believe our first race is January 13th. We're going to do a few events Wednesday nights with the Pro 4 trucks on iRacing. These things are 900 horsepower, all-wheel drive, 6-speed sequential transmissions. And I mean, they are drift monsters, jump monsters. They're, even if you're slow, you're having fun. You know, the tongue is hanging out the window type of deal. And we're going to be going to Crandon International Raceway, Wild West Motorsports Park, and Wild Horse Pass Motorsports Park for a 3-race series called the ROUSH Performance Off-Road Series, kicking off January, February here, 2021.
Yes, they're laughing machines. You get in it and you don't stop laughing until you stop. I mean, it's going to be an absolute blast. I think we've had a lot of fun calling these races, but just with 9 trucks on these tracks is a blast, which is, I think, is the most we've done so far, which is practicing and testing, getting things going.
You gonna tell them how many?
Yeah. So I guess how many available spots do we have left? Because you're going to sign up quick.
I think we've got roughly 20 spots left, roughly 15 to 20 spots left for Crandon. I know that the entries have been pouring in every single day. And one of the things that we've always really tried to provide for all these participants is, if you come and race, you're going to race with real life pros too. So we're organizing our professional list right now, and we should be able to announce something here in the coming weeks on who all is going to be racing from the professional side. So you might be rubbing elbows with IMSA champions, NASCAR champions, rally car champions. Who knows who you'll see out there?
Not me. I'll be in the booth. You don't want to rub anything with me. Jordan found out yesterday during the so, but one more thing is a huge thank you to Continental Tire and Haggerty Motorsports. I mean, these guys, as soon as we pitched Jack and the team, we pitched the idea, there wasn't a hesitation. It's like, yes, let's do it. Let's see where this goes. And I think we're all pleased at the show that we were able to put on to everyone. We hope that we continue to do so. And so, hey, winter's around the corner. And if you need new tires, head over to continentaltire.com. You know, you got to do the penny trick, right? See if you got any traction there. Put on those winter tires. But no, we appreciate you guys, Jordan, Matt, Paul, Jack, Joey, everyone that has watched and supported us in any way. Thank you so much. This was our first really big kickoff, and we're excited to continue to move forward. And as you heard, we got the off-road series coming up. So if you want to sign up, you can actually go down to the post. What is it? Is it the promo post?
Yeah. On our esports page here, if you watch the off-road promo, within that post is the sign-up link. Just go ahead and click the Motorsport Reg sign-up link, and it'll take you right to the sign-up page.
There you go. All right, guys, you got anything else?
Yeah, I got one more thing. I forgot to, of course, mention our big team sponsor for the endurance race.
Oh, yeah.
Novastar Solutions. I've talked about them so much every time we were on after our wins, but definitely need to thank them for a great season, and look forward to hopefully doing it with them again. So thanks, and then thanks again to all the other drivers out there. It was a great season. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matt. All right, guys, we will sign out of that, and we will see you guys when we're rolling around in the mud. So we'll see you guys next time.